Hello, hello.
Hi.
We're back. I feel like it has been about 20 years
By the way, why is it whenever we say we're back, we both laugh? What?
because
Why
of
do we find that so funny?
because because I think of what we've said. I
Yes,
don't know.
we're not going to say it again, but yes,
No.
I'm with you.
Yes. So I don't know where to start.
Well, first, who are you?
Oh, that's right. I'm Selene Castrovilla,
I'm Pascal.
and we are your hosts for
What is it called again? Life in Jest. I got it.
That's it.
That's right, right?
Yes. All right. I think we've just been thrown off our game by all the recent excitement, for lack of another word, in this world. But we're here to be calming influences.
Yes, and to hopefully make you laugh during a very interesting time.
Except I do have very dark things to talk about.
Oh, okay. So never mind.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you, too, that my notes are all over the place today. I got disrupted from what I was doing this. My way of notes initially is writing on the back of receipts or whatever I have.
Yeah.
I have a million notepads and stuff, but I find the best way to do it is to scribble on an envelope. I don't know what it is, but it ran in my family. My aunt always did that too. So maybe I just witnessed it.
Yeah.
But then I typed them up. But today I got disrupted from my typing and I never got back until it was time to record. So, and plus I've just reversed the episodes. But anyway, I think it'll all work out.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I mean, if you like this, let us know. And if you don't like it, don't let us know.
Yeah, just don't say anything.
All right. So I am going to start with a mini segment called, I guess it's a WTAF. That's another thing I didn't decide beforehand, but it's a pretty surprising thing. So,
Well, let's say WTAF means what the actual fuck,
and
right?
if you're a listener, you should know that.
I know, but just for somebody new,
This is what Howard always says. He
yes,
explains. Yes, it's
for
true.
somebody
Okay.
new tuning in.
Okay. There's something that happened in America recently, and everybody's in an uproar for whatever reason. And I needed something to really take my mind off everything.
Yeah.
And I found this amazing podcast. It's because I love true crime. I've told you guys this before, and I've even talked about episodes of things, but I love true crime. And I found a podcast called The Kill List.
Oh, interesting.
Now, what do you think The Kill List is?
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is school shootings when they make a kill list.
Oh no, I would never listen to a podcast about school shootings. I couldn't.
That's the first thing I thought.
You're
of.
right. That's true. But I would never.
No.
The minute I hear any true crime, my cutoff is. I'm going to talk about something that changes that anyway today. But usually I try not to listen until they're like 18 at least. Even then, it's upsetting. I don't like to hear about anything bad happening to kids.
Yeah.
I hate that. No, The Kill List is friggin' phenomenal because it's a true story. A journalist is sharing the story, right? He's a British journalist, so it's kind of fun. He's got the more loose kind of British accent, not the really proper one, but he's not completely Cockney.
Okay, yeah.
But he says this. What's his name? His name is Carl Miller, but it sounds like he's saying his name is Carmilla. Or maybe Camilla, which is even funnier because the king's wife is now doing this podcast. But he just like, I'm Carmilla. Yes, but I really like him. He's a very likable guy, and I like it because it's a fish out of water thing. It's almost like a movie because there's a lot of action and stuff, but it's real. And he's the kind of action hero like where it's the kind of person that's not really in that kind of line of work. He's a journalist, but he has a friend who is a hacker. Now, we always think of hackers as bad.
They're not always bad.
They're not. This guy is good. So this guy goes on the dark web and he looks for ways to take things down or somehow figure out who they are. You know, there was a site to hire hitmen.
Wow.
And this is ridiculous if you think about it, because you'd have to really believe totally in the fantasy of hitmen, like the most international way, because the site claims that they'll go anywhere. Now, what do they have? Like just a network of hitmen everywhere? And then the people pay $5,000 to kill somebody by a gunshot? $5,000 is not enough to kill somebody.
I guess for certain people it is.
I think it's just that these people are already delusional. You know, like that, you know, the idea to want to kill somebody else is delusional in a way. Like that you're putting yourself above everything else. It's there's a lot of things. There's narcissism involved, but I think you have to be delusional to think that you could just get this hitman to come and do this.
Oh, yeah. I was once on a grand jury. I did grand jury duty for, like, a year.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was at first, I was like, "A year? Oh my god."
But it
But
wasn't every day.
it was once a week.
Yeah.
But we had a couple of cases of people trying to hire hitmen
Really? More than one.
that
Wow.
were cops.
They're always cops, aren't
Yes.
they?
I don't know
Yeah.
why people don't learn that.
Well,
Like, does nobody watch TV?
well, I guess once in a while there might be someone, but I think mostly they're cops. I would never. I mean, first of all, I would never do that.
Right.
But I mean, I can't even imagine the idea of trying to take away someone's life for something for me. Like, no, like work it out any other way, you know. But and if you have to give them money, give them money, get divorced. So what? You have no right to take someone's life.
I know, but there wouldn't be any of these shows. It's
Right.
apparently it goes on so much.
I know.
I
Okay, well, this in the dark web, this the good news about it is the whole thing is a scam. They take their money, but there's no hitman. Okay.
Good.
But the people that are hiring them have that desire to kill the person, so they're going to try something else, right?
Yeah.
So the hacker tried to tell the police, but the police would not listen to him. They would not take him seriously. They didn't care about it at all. He had the kill list. The kill list is a list of every single person who was to be killed, all their information, where they lived, the pictures of them, and this and that. Then he had the dark web names of the people that ordered them. So not their real names, but whatever they go by in the
Yeah.
dark web. And they all paid in Bitcoin. They didn't think it could be traced. Turns out it can be traced, luckily. So he had all that information. And he was like handing it to the cops on a silver platter, right? And the cops were uninterested.
Wow.
And there was one name on the list that proved that this was definitely true and the people could be killed, because one of the people was a woman who was already dead.
Oh, so they did kill her.
Well, what happened was the guy sent the money. There was a husband and a wife and a kid. There's always a baby, unfortunately. Nobody knew who it was. It's just a name. But Carl knew that it was fake, so he knew the hitman hadn't come. But the woman was dead. So it turned out that it was the husband. The husband tried to make it a suicide, but he didn't know how to position the gun. You can't get away with that stuff anyway. So what? You just don't even do it. I think the police were still investigating it when Carl approached them and showed them the kill list. Oh, that's how they were able to trace the guy, that he is the one that bought the Bitcoin. So that proved that he had the intent. So then it was extra proof that he killed her because he had tried to hire the hitman.
Yeah, they needed.
So the reporter is the one that
Yeah.
got it all together, which is amazing, right?
Wow.
So that's how the whole thing starts out, right? And it's like, that's a real hook. So then he's talking about his whole journey with the kill list. He tries to call people on the kill list because they're all over the world, right? So he can't go there. He doesn't have unlimited funds. And people just don't take him seriously at all. They think it's a scam. They think it's a phone scam.
Well, there's so many scams now.
I know. So guys like, I don't want to take your survey. He goes, this is not a survey. This is about your safety.
Someone's gonna kill you.
And he goes, this is about you're in danger. And the guy said, leave me alone to my own dangers.
Well, I mean, you can't say he didn't. You can't say he didn't.
Well,
try.
yeah, but this guy was like haunted, like as I feel we would be too. You have this list of people. How can we not warn them? We have to find out. So this is really interesting. He enlisted journalists. Journalists have just like we have networks of people we know. Journalists have a network of, like, he may not know them already, but he could say, I'm a journalist here, you're a journalist there. And so he found people near wherever these people were, and he had them go to the people. And so you listen to the conversation. She approached them, sort of told them the beginning of it, and then Carl did a Zoom with them to explain everything. And so we listened to these. So we listened to the people reacting and finally taking seriously that their lives are in danger. And we learned it's just the psychological part of it is so interesting too, how they react. And some of them, they mostly knew who had a good idea, but one woman never did find out who it was.
Wow.
They arrested the wrong person.
Oh my goodness.
And she knew. She's like, why is it this person? I haven't seen this person in 4 years, And some people had like ridiculous reasons to kill. He talks about the whole trajectory for 4 episodes, I think, or 6 episodes, maybe. And I'm like, oh God, it's going to end. And because he said he had given 175 names to the cops. Finally, the FBI gets involved. And it was so funny because I was like, get the FBI. And then the FBI called. I even knew it was the husband at first. Like, it's always the husband anyways. I'm pretty I'm really into my skills as a sleuth. I think I would like. Well, I wouldn't like to do this because this guy got consumed by it for 2 years, and I don't know how he paid his bills at that time because it wasn't like anybody was paying him for this. So, but now he's got the podcast, which is incredible. But anyway, I was like, no, I don't want this to be over because they were talking about the trajectory of it. I'm like, I want to hear about all the cases. Then he's like, now we're going to go over individual cases. I'm like, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's like he hears you.
So far, I only was it went up to 8 on Apple, not Apple. What was I listening on? Amazon. Here's a tip: if you have Amazon Prime, you can listen to any Wondery podcasts and some other podcasts without any commercials on Amazon Music.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So I listen on Amazon Music, and I will tell you guys, this is the best podcast for true crime that I've ever heard. We're the best podcast in our category, which is not actually comedy; it's society and culture or something.
Yes.
I put us under that because I feel like it's too much pressure to call us comedy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I have 2 comments to make. Comments, questions. Actually, I don't really want to know the answer, but I'm sure I'm not the only person that's thinking this. How the fuck do you get on the dark web, and how
Okay.
do you get Bitcoin? Like, how are
Well,
these
I
things
don't.
happening?
Well, I went to a cash machine today, and it said one of the choices you could do was buy Bitcoin.
Really? I've never seen that.
Yes. I don't know why I would want
What
Bitcoin.
bank machine
I don't
do you
know if
go to?
it was in CVS. It was
in CVS?
It was in CVS. It was the bank machine happens to be from my bank,
Wow.
and one was the one choice. I don't know where the money would come. Would it go in my bank account? Would it
don't
spit
know.
at me? What would it be? Certificates? I don't really have any of this. To me, that's all fake money. But apparently, it is in full bloom on the dark web, and they were using the fake name on the Hitman site, but they were able to trace it all. I think they literally had to go on the Bitcoin sites, hack into that, and go against the amounts bought that day. I don't really know how he did it, but that hacker did a good job.
Listen, if Neve on Catfish could find people's stuff, then
No, that
hackers could.
no, but this
hackers
this
can really
is,
do it.
Yeah, but Neve stuff is like stuff you really could do yourself. You know,
Yes.
that's why I don't.
But people
there's
never
really,
think to
there's
do
really
that.
no need to call catfish. You can basically do. Although I like the way they, they bring the people together and all that. But
Can you tell I've been obsessively watching that?
I watched it
lately?
last night too. I was a little disappointed in the last episode, but anyway, all that aside, okay, I happen to know how to get on the dark web because I was interested. Because I was watching, you always hear about it, but years ago, I heard about it all the time on the show Elementary, which was the modern Sherlock Holmes
yeah.
in New York City. I liked him better than the British one.
Oh, I really
Yeah.
like the British one.
I didn't. What? I don't. Something about his eyes. He looks better not as Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, this is all an aside. This is us. We should call this show the Aside Show. So he always was going on the dark web to find that information. And as a matter of fact, he had screens all over the place. He was running like all these different screens on the dark web. This and I'm like, how the hell does this guy get on the dark web? So I asked my son Casey, because he, like, young people, if you have a question, you ask the young people anything technical, right? And he knew how to get on the dark web right away. He sent me some. Okay, so the first thing is they use the search engine DuckDuckGo, which actually has been advertised as an alternative to Google. Like,
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Well, that's the search engine on the dark web. Okay, but to get on the dark web, so you have to download a different, like on your browser. You know how you download things like Chrome or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, you download this thing called Tor, Tor, and that's the dark web. And you're in there.
Really? That's
Yeah.
so much easier than I thought it would be.
I know, because he sent me a video and it was talking about Tor. I go, Casey, I asked for the dark web. I didn't ask for Tor. What's Tor? He goes, that is the dark web. I'm like, oh my God. I know, it's a little bit of a letdown.
It is a little bit of a letdown. I mean,
But you have to download it separately. And then as long as you don't give your name at all, you are anonymous. I guess, unless some hacker can figure it out. I didn't do anything. I was just sort of curious.
Yeah.
But I mean, and there's a lot of stuff on it that people just want to be private and they're not even doing anything illegal.
Oh, okay.
There's actually there's two parts to it. There's a dark web. There's two, I forget what there are, but there's 2 levels. And on the lower level, that's where all the really crazy stuff happens, Right. But yeah, it's so easy to get into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you
now
go,
I
guys.
know.
Now you know how to get on the dark web.
I can't be the only one who didn't know that,
Watch
right?
it, but I said it really simplistically. I'm sure there were other steps that I don't remember. So you watch a video. Don't
You
listen to
you
me.
can YouTube anything
Yeah,
nowadays.
well, I don't, but it didn't say dark web. It said Tor. That's why I was asking him.
Oh,
And
okay.
Tor was a writing teacher of mine that was really horrible to me.
Really? You knew someone called Tor?
He's an author.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes, people. It was Tor Siedler. He was mean to me. He made me
Oh.
cry.
Oh,
He
no.
criticized my writing in front of everybody. He mocked me because I didn't follow the instructions to his letter.
Oh.
Because when you're a creative, you're supposed to be creative. There's
Not
more
to
to
Tor.
No, there's more to that story. He wrote a book called Mean Margaret, and it was about a girl the girl human girl is mean and all the animals are nice. I'm like, this guy hates people,
Oh, gosh.
hates children, and I think he got the National Book Award for that book, which is really
Wow.
unbelievable. But all right, now you know. I'll tell you the full story another time. Okay, so that is my WTAF, the kill list. It's shocking because you learn so much about humanity. Carl says he thinks that there's a lot of motivations, but he thinks it's mostly about control. These people are losing control and they want it back. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. And he also felt they were all delusional in like different ways. But then there was one particular guy that was really insane. Like he wasn't clinically insane, but he was delusional where it was almost like he didn't realize it was actually going to happen. I think it was when people play so many video games and watch these movies, they almost don't even realize it actually is happening. That's the problem with a lot of those things. I think it makes life too not precious. It's too immediate, too easy to get rid of things, and there's no real consequence in them. So I don't know. But anyway, it's great. I'm waiting for episode 9. I just love it. So the other one is also, I would say, possibly a WTAF. This is really dark, okay? But everybody's been talking about the Menendez brothers,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know. I listened to an episode about them. Of course, when we were younger, that's when it happened, right? So we just knew that they killed their parents and then they went to jail, right? Like they went on a spending spree after they killed him and this and that. Now they're probably going to get out because the judge said they could be resentenced, and it's because they supposedly were molested by their father. However, I was in the supermarket a week or two ago, and the checkout woman was reading had the thing with the Menendez brothers on the cover. I go, "Oh, looks like they're getting out." She goes, "They better not.
Oh.
It's a fraud. It's a lie." I go, "What do you mean?" "They weren't molested." I go, "How do you know?" She goes, "Eric admitted it to somebody." I'm like, "Eric admitted it?" And I'm like, I didn't hear that, but she was adamant. And that's why Eric couldn't testify in the second trial, because then they could have brought in that the other person heard him say, sort of contested what he said. And that's why they were convicted, because they were trying to use this. But on the other hand, abuse then was not what it is now. Now everybody
Right.
gives so much allowance, but then they didn't. But I don't know if they were really molested or not, because the father molested like Menudo or something, right? Didn't he? The father was a producer and he molested male stars, male performers.
Oh, that was their father?
Yes.
Oh, really?
So it stands to reason. Yeah,
Oh, I
he's
didn't
one of
know
them.
that.
He's one of them. And I don't know if it was Menudo with him or not, but it was famous people that he molested.
Yeah.
And so if he did that, why it stands to reason that there's credibility that he did it to his
It's
own kids.
possible, but they're dead, so you can't really
I
prove
know,
anything.
but it's pretty. And the mother they would have been angry with because she stood by and did nothing. And I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think anyone can really know for sure. But the one thing about those two brothers is that they stood by each other. You got to admit it.
Yeah.
Neither one ever turned. And you know what they did? They used to be in separate prisons, but then they decided to put them in cells, adjoining cells, which was actually very humane to let them be together. Don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, were they also hoping that they'd talk and reveal
No,
something?
no, they got life without parole. That was a sentence.
Oh, okay.
This
I
was
don't really know
this
much
was
about
well. I
them.
heard this.
I
On,
heard the molestation thing. I
Yeah.
know they went to jail for killing their parents. That's all I know.
Yeah, well, I listened to an episode of one of my shows. Like, this was at least 10 years after they went to jail that they were nice. They decided, why let's be humane and put. I thought that was really nice.
That is nice.
Because like it's why be I. There are people that will argue they should be punished as harshly as possible, but I don't think so. And also they were very young, and again, that's not an excuse. Okay, they were teenagers, right? When they were like in
I
upper
think
teens,
so,
right?
yeah.
Well, that doesn't make an excuse either. You're either a killer or you're not. I mean, I would never at any age would have killed anybody except in self-defense. And I don't think I could have done that even. I probably would have been killed. But I thought that was nice. And I do appreciate the bond that they have. And so that sort of also gives me kind of empathy for them, their bond with each other. So I want to tell you about a case that just happened that is way more shocking than the Menendez brothers. So, did you hear about this case in Washington State? It was
About
like
what?
2 weeks ago where a family was murdered, except there was one survivor.
No.
So, it was in Washington. A lot of stuff happens in Washington State, I've noticed.
Maybe it's all that rain.
Yeah, maybe. By the way, we're not in the library, and I am happily drinking a margarita.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with wine.
I went with the margarita, but it's mostly the stuff. It's just a shot of tequila. So, an 11-year-old girl was woken up to sounds of turned out to be gunshots. I don't think she knew. She came out of the room to the most horrific thing possible. She saw her father lying on the floor with a bullet wound. She saw her 9-year-old brother lying also dead. She wasn't sure, but they looked. Imagine you get woken up. They're still learning the action. This is a little kid trying to explain something that happened in the most traumatic moments, possible. She was 11. Her 7-year-old sister stepped out of the room that she was in too. Apparently, she must have been looking, and the sister stepped out. She watched her sister get gunned down.
Wow.
Yeah, her sister dropped to the floor. Right?
And what about her?
So then, and there were two more people in the house, which she didn't see them die, but they also died. The mother and another brother, a 13-year-old brother, and the mother were in another part of the house. So that's 5 members of the family dead. So she laid down in her bed, and the person shot her, but they didn't kill her. They just wounded her. So even though and in the neck too, and she still survived, neck and hand, and she was in such intense pain, but she still played dead. So this girl is brilliant, and she should be like a CSI person when she's older. She made me think of that Jodie Foster character in Hannibal Lecter thing.
Yeah.
So brilliant. How did she know to play dead? I'd be flipped out, just screaming. And she's just witnessed her sister get shot in front of her. The other two she saw dead, and I can't even imagine, right? But you haven't heard the worst part.
What?
So even though all this was happening, she recognized the gun. And the gun was her father's gun that he always kept locked up. And she recognized the shooter. And do you know who the shooter was?
Her brother.
Her other brother, her 15-year-old brother. Her 15-year-old brother murdered the family. She saw him check the pulses on the other one before, but he didn't check her pulse. Otherwise, he would have killed her. It's just a miracle she survived, right? And then she heard him call 911. And he said, help me. My brother killed everyone and then committed suicide. So he was pinning it on his 13-year-old brother.
The one he killed?
Yes.
Wow.
He pinned it on him, and he said it's because the brother got caught looking at porn. And so the girl heard that. Obviously, she knew she had to get out. Thank God there was a fire window in her room. Shot twice. Got out of the fire window and went to the neighbors and called 911. So 911 got very confused. They were getting all these different 911. And the brother didn't know that she'd gotten away. So when the cops got there, he's like, oh, my brother. They're like, oh, yeah, well. Now, if she hadn't survived, he probably would have gotten away with the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe.
And also, I don't think they've decided whether to charge him as an adult. He absolutely should be charged as an adult. He killed his whole family.
I agree.
He can't be charged as a youth. He can't be getting out.
I absolutely
This
agree
is
with you.
one bad apple. This is a kid, like, how could you murder your family? And they said she told the detectives or whoever she told that he had failed a couple of tests recently. So apparently he murdered his whole family because he was getting bad grades and he was going to get in trouble.
Wow.
So the thing I want to contrast it to the Menendez brothers is at least those brothers loved each other, never killed each other.
They didn't kill each other. That's something.
This kid had no problem slaughtering his whole family. How? Your little sister, the 7-year-old little baby, 9-year-old brother, 7-year-old sister, 11-year-old sister, 13-year-old brother, no problem killing them. I don't know what could bring somebody to the point.
I mean, you shouldn't kill anybody, obviously.
But your own family when you're a kid, and you're a kid, he's like
you haven't heard these cases before where the kid kills the family or the parents?
The parents, but not the family.
I feel like I have.
Well, I think that was the thing that happened in Amityville.
Yeah.
that house originally. I think a brother killed the family, but I really never explored it because it was upsetting. The headline of this made me. I didn't. They didn't say it was her brother. I had to know the details just because it was just so upsetting. But then to find out it's her brother, what is wrong with this kid?
Oh, the same thing that's wrong with every other
Do you
murderer.
think that he was like born this way?
I think that, yeah, I think there was something wrong with him to begin with. I mean, for you to be pushed that over the edge over nothing, there's something already there.
I can't imagine killing the people you. I guess maybe he's
Oh,
just not
yeah, there's
capable of love.
cases where the mother kills everybody, the
Yeah,
father
yeah,
kills
yeah.
everybody.
Something about a kid slaughtering his whole family. He was the oldest one. He's supposed to protect them.
Yeah, kids kill, kids murder.
I don't know, but this was so. It just the juxtaposition of him and the Menendez brothers. I don't know. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I see
So,
what you're saying.
so that is that. My two very
That's
cheerful. My very
we
cheerful
should
thing.
not laugh, but
I'm sorry. No, it's horrible. It's horrible. And that poor little girl. I can't even believe that she held it together to get away. Like that's brilliant. Like what a brilliant girl.
that girl has some survival instincts.
She is spunky as hell. She's staying with other relatives. But can you imagine?
No, can you imagine what her life is going to be? Oh my God.
I hope the brother's still in jail, but even though somehow they issued an order of protection, he's not to go near his sister. Well, duh. Is he in jail or not? I don't. It's murky. And his attorney had the funniest line in the most morbid way. This is a quote from the newspaper. I don't know which newspaper. His attorney. He didn't show. They didn't. He didn't come to court. His attorney went for him, and his attorney claimed that he had no history of violence. Well, fuck it then. Let him go. No history of violence. It's no problem then. You get to slaughter your family free once. Free pass.
Yes. Well, now next time he
Next
commits a
time,
crime,
yeah.
he'll have a history
You
of
bet.
violence.
Hope he doesn't get married and have
Oh
kids.
my God. Good Lord.
Yeah. So this is what we're dealing with the justice system. But I can't imagine a world where this kid is gonna get out. He better not get out again because he's obviously a danger. If he would slaughter his whole family, he'll slaughter anybody. This kid can never go out again. Never. That's my opinion, obviously.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of times these people get back out on the street.
This kid better never get out on the street.
No, he shouldn't, but a lot of these people shouldn't.
Oh, I know, like that one I told you about last week with the guy that killed the girlfriend, and then everybody was for him and not her. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anyway, okay. So now on to our main topic, which is not about murder. You might be happy to know. So this is about women. Okay, misogyny is one thing and it's a bad thing. But women turning on each other is even more of a transgression to me because we are the same. Why would we want to hurt each other? I feel everybody's the same. I don't view men, I mean, I know they're men, but I think of everybody as equals. I don't care about race. I don't know. I guess I'm an anomaly, but I just never thought about any of that stuff. I notice it, but it means nothing to me, right? But there's a lot of misogyny out there, and which is really really bad. But women should, of all things, women should support each other. I mean, we don't have an ERA, right? We didn't even get to vote till 1920. What the hell?
I know.
But there are women out there that turn against each other. And what made me think of this topic was because of the presidential race. I'm not talking about politics at all. I'm just talking about the fact that Kamala Harris is a woman, and the fact that everybody, I think it's pretty well known that certain people just wouldn't vote for her because she was a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's bad enough. But I was listening to Howard Stern, and one of the people on there, his name is JD, and he was listening to all the different shows about the election coverage. And Howard asked him why he thinks that Kamala lost, and he said a woman in a focus group. Dr. Phil had a focus group because why wouldn't he?
Of course he did.
That man is like everywhere. It's like roaches can just get in the littlest crevices.
Yes.
But so he had this focus group, and a woman stood up and said, I am a strong woman, but I believe that a woman cannot be president in our country. because no one will take her seriously. No one will respect her. All the other countries have men. It's not true. There are definitely women leaders. Yeah.
No.
And, but this,
Margaret Thatcher?
right. Well, there's a lot, there's a bunch of them.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
And but she said that we have, so this was a case of and Robin said nothing like women standing up for each other,
Right?
right?
And she's a strong woman.
Yeah, some strong woman. Who says that? I mean, it was absolutely appalling.
It is appalling.
And I really feel that we probably never will have a woman president.
How crazy is that?
It's, well, when you think about it, we don't even have equal rights.
No, we really don't.
That was it actually passed the House and the Senate. There was a woman that was responsible for getting it through. Amazing woman. I wrote a book about the year that it happened. It was either 70 or 70. I wrote a bunch of books for Scholastic. It's about civil rights in that year. And so it's either 1970 or 72. I think 72. This woman personally went to every guy. And one guy's like, when you get 100 signatures, then I'll sign it. So then she goes, I'm here for your signature.
Good for her.
And they got it through after so many times. And guess what? The states stalled it out. The states would not ratify it.
Of course.
So, yeah. So how could we believe that we could have a woman president when we don't even have equal rights?
No. I don't know if I should say this or not. I was having a conversation with somebody today, and I'm not saying who should have won, but so Hillary ran against Trump, Trump won.
Right.
Then a man ran against Trump, they won.
Right.
Now a woman ran against Trump and Trump won.
Right.
Do you see where I'm going
Exactly.
with that?
Well, I said the minute I heard they were putting another woman, I'm like, that's it. They're going to lose because this country proved that they would not vote for a woman the first time.
Yes.
And people are like, oh, it was just her. No, it wasn't just her. It was any strong woman. And you have to be a strong woman to run for president.
Yes, because if you're a strong woman and you get anywhere in your life, people are going to call you a bitch. People are going to call you this and that because they can't give you any kind of credit for getting where you are without having been horrible to people. And that's not the case.
I know. So, but what I really want to concentrate is why women hurt each other. Okay. Now you think about women do horrible things. Always the cheating thing, right? Men wouldn't be able to cheat if women didn't agree to cheat with them.
Yes.
I don't get that at all. I don't get how you could hurt another woman. There's so many men out there. Get one that's not taken.
It's very selfish.
It's disgusting.
And it's like the fact that you could do that to another person.
Yeah,
it's really.
It's like they compartmentalize the other person, like they don't exist. Like they and sometimes they believe stories. Oh, my wife is this and that. Well, number one, it's none of your business. That's their marriage. Let him deal with his marriage. He wants to get a divorce, then you can be with him. You can't be the other one. What's the point of this?
I have no idea.
And then, first of all, I hate to tell you this: a guy cheats once, he's going to cheat again. The end.
Of course.
A woman too. It's the same thing.
And also, why would you listen to a man telling you that the other woman is bad? Of course he's going to tell you that. Right. Because then you will feel bad for him that he's going through all this at home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bullshit.
Exactly.
I don't know how we haven't learned that by now.
I don't know, but I just, well, not only that, but no matter what the circumstance, no matter what he says, who cares? You're married. That should be the end of the subject.
Right. Let them work out whatever they've got to work out, get a divorce, and then you proceed.
Exactly. So I was reading a bunch of articles about the psychology of women that hurt each other, but I decided to concentrate on an article in the Huffington Post. Does that still exist? I feel like it doesn't.
I don't know.
Because it used to be all around, like,
yeah.
But that's when we used AOL too.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I don't know if it still exists, but their articles still exist. So there's an article called Female Betrayal, 3 Reasons Women Hurt Other Women, and it's by Andra Brosh, PhD, a contributor who's a psychologist. Okay. So I'm just going to read you the beginning when she wrote this. And again, it's the Huffington Post, so if you wanted to read it, you could just Google that. Several women in my life have betrayed me. From adolescence through adulthood, I have had to overcome the intense feelings that come with being backstabbed and hurt by my own gender. During my elementary school years, I was dumped by my best friend for another older and prettier girl. This brought up something, like I kind of tried to block it out of my mind, but it hurts just like it happened to me yesterday. Same thing. In 6th grade, my best friend suddenly decided we weren't friends anymore. There was no reason. It was just like, we're not friends anymore. I'm like, what? And I was like, I didn't have that many friends. She was like my. It was like a real thing. It was important to me. Any friendship when you're young is especially
Yes.
the formative years. Friendship is so important.
I
You
know,
know,
but girls are fucking
she was so
mean.
mean, and then you know what she did? Like maybe it seemed like a long time later. It could have been like a couple of days. You know how you like but. She said, "Well, maybe I'll be your friend," and she kept making me do things to earn her friendship, and I did it.
Of course, because you want that person back in your life, but like you don't know at that point. You're a child. You don't know that this person's a piece of shit.
Right. I mean, but I see. I never told any. I couldn't tell my mother because I didn't have that kind of relationship with my mother. So, um, so then finally, after all I did, she decided, nope, I'm not going to be a friend.
Yeah,
Took it
because
away
they're
again.
mean.
Took it
I
away
Yes,
again.
I had a similar experience, and then I have a daughter, and she had a pack of girlfriends, and they kept turning on. The whole group would turn on one, and
Wow.
I told her, I'm like, it's gonna be your turn.
Yeah.
Do you want to be one of those people?
Right.
And she didn't, and they
Oh, so,
did turn on her. They
wow.
absolutely turned on her. You could have seen that coming a mile away because they
Unbelievable.
kept doing it. And I'm like,
Terrible.
"Those are your friends? Like, you need
See,
to
at least
rethink
you were
your
able to
friends."
talk to her about it. That's
Yes,
so
when I
good.
was a kid, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Right. We didn't
I
have anybody.
I
Yeah.
had a girl that lived down the block, Linda. I won't give her last name, but you'll whatever. So, and we used to hang out all the time. I don't know how old I was. It was elementary school because of course I learned how shitty people were in
Yeah.
elementary school.
Exactly.
Things I had no idea about. And
Yeah.
she came up to me one day and she goes, "I can't be your friend. You're the only black girl on the
Oh
block."
my God.
And I was like, "What?" I I come from a family, I'm Haitian, right? So we have every color of person in my family. I had no idea people were racist. I
Wow.
this never it wasn't in my world at
Right.
all.
And then all of a sudden they get hit
And
with
I
that.
was like, "What?"
Wow.
I was like, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Right.
And I don't know what happened. I don't remember the rest. I remember feeling awful, just terrible, because I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would she not want to be my friend? And then I don't know what happened, but we were friends again. And I don't remember how.
Like immediately?
No, I don't
Oh.
think immediately, but she was a terrible person anyway. She got me in trouble. She'd steal Barbie stuff from the other neighbor
Oh my
and
God.
bring it to my
Oh, so
house,
you got
and the
accused?
mother came.
Okay. Well, you're the
And
black girl. You had to do it.
yes, and I was in trouble. The mother hated me then, and
Oh
I'm
my
like, I
God.
she also took I will never forget this. She took one of the girl's dolls, this girl that lived across the street, same girl she stole from, and she tossed it down a sewer.
Why?
I don't know. She was just
That's
a mean
that is
girl. She
malicious.
was a horrible person.
That is horrible.
Yeah, she was just awful. So I
And
know what
pinned it
you're
on you.
saying. Yeah.
You got framed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I accepted this behavior just like you
Yeah.
accepted that
Well,
behavior.
we don't really know any better.
No, I had no idea. I
Yeah.
didn't get relationships. God, I didn't get relationships until I was way old. I should have
I'm just
gotten.
learning them now. I know, I know. I went to the 5 towns. I probably mentioned this already, but I don't have a religion. And in the 5 towns, everybody has a religion. Most of them are Jewish, but then there are some Catholics. But
Yeah.
that's the 2 choices. That's it. And there were these girls. They were like, I guess in my head, I must have called them this in my head, but I called them the 4th grade mob because it was
Yeah.
so mean to me, and they just relentlessly picked on me, and it got worse and worse and worse. Where
Yes.
it was borderline, like they were sort of like pulling at my, like they didn't hit me, but they pulled at my clothes and this and that, and I mean, really invasive on me. Like,
Yeah.
so I think I must have told my mother because it had to be bad if I told my mother because I never told my mother anything, and she went and reported them. And then they were all pissed off, of course, that they got
Yeah. So
reported.
it gets worse.
So then I was like, I'll tell them it's not true. I'll tell them it's not
Oh my
true. I
God.
just
Oh,
wanted,
that's so
I
sad.
knew they didn't like me. I just wanted to be left alone, though,
I know.
They were so mean.
Yeah, girls are mean.
And, in 11th grade or 8th grade, I think it was at the summer of 7th grade, I came back in 8th grade and I had anorexia and I was a toothpick. I was a toothpick. And I looked so unhealthy, right? And then all of a sudden, these girls wanted to talk to me. They wanted to question me to find out how I lost all that weight.
Yeah, because
Imagine.
they're so selfish. They don't think of I Oh my god, that just gets me so mad.
But the boys were always nice to me, like, I never had a problem with
I know,
boys.
I was friends with all the
Yeah.
boys.
And
Yeah,
it's like that's and I've always sort of been drawn to men. I think it starts off I mean, the 2 women in my life were pretty toxic. Well, I love my aunt, but my aunt was controlling. Like, my aunt wanted me to play the violin, and I hated it. My aunt, I found that her love was conditional, right?
yeah,
And I realized that when I went to a shrink and I was telling him, about I said, he said, "Well, what about your aunt?" I said, "Well, my aunt's a saint." He goes, "Well, she's a manipulative saint."
yes.
And that was the best thing that shrink ever said to me.
Well, I also think in your case, and I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but your mother was
Well, that's the other thing. Well, that's
so
yeah.
something that looks better than what you have.
Right. Well, she was my only hope for love. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, my mom was always jealous of me. Okay. And my mom was a lot of things, and she definitely had a personality disorder. So, but talk coming to it from my view as a child, you don't know about personality disorders. You just
No.
know that
Yeah.
that my mother. I did not think my mother loved me, and I still don't know if my mother loved me. I feel like so like as she got older, once in a while there would be one gleaming thing, but like then it would just like she was tortured, but she was also torturing me, and I remember her always like having to one up me. If I wrote something, oh, I wrote this when I was. I mean, like nothing could be just my victory,
Right.
and that's the sort of the least of the stuff. But still,
I
you
know,
know,
but unfortunately, people like that, they just you don't know any better. You're a child. You don't know how
right?
to protect yourself
No, you
from
don't.
that.
No,
Or these mean
you just
girls.
want love. You just want
Yes,
friendship, love. The base. All we are, we're just innocents wanting the basic companionship, love. Like these are basic
yeah,
things that should be for everybody. Should
I
be for
know.
everybody. And then and my father was hardly ever there, but he was like this mysterious, like he was hardly ever there, but he was so nice and caring. I'm like, so that I think that started my search for that elusive
Yeah,
man that put me on a whole other path.
I think that
You know?
happens to a lot of women.
Yeah.
But yeah, these mean girls. So I had a mean girl. So her name was Lisa, and she was, you know, I obviously I'm obsessed with David Sedaris.
Yeah,
So
this is
at some
good.
points, he asks his niece, his teenage niece, like young teens, or I don't know how old she was,
Right.
honestly. Who is the most popular girl in your school? And she, of course, comes up with the name right away. And he's like, you will always remember her. And that is her triumph.
Ah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Yes, because I remember mine's name was Lisa. And she, she had, it was the 70s, 80s. She had the feathered blonde
Oh
hair,
yes.
the
The
blue
Farrah
eyes,
haircut.
and she ruled everybody.
Yeah.
But being the way I am, because sometimes I will push back. For some reason with her, I wasn't going to take her shit.
That's good.
And I, but she kept on me. She is the only bully I've ever had.
Wow.
And I was not fucking having it.
Good for you.
I didn't remember this, but I reconnected with someone on Facebook and she's like, remember how you used to tell her she's a Jordache bitch? And I'm like, yeah, I probably did.
I
Because
love that.
I refused for some reason. I've I've not always done that. I'm usually very,
Yeah,
I'll
you sort of
bend to
yeah,
people.
yeah.
But for some reason,
That's
that
good.
girl, and then she friended me on
Oh my
Facebook.
god.
And at first I accepted, and then I was like, what the fuck? Why would I ever accept this woman? She was horrible to
Yeah.
me for years. And I'm like, and I never did anything to her, as I'm sure you didn't do anything to those people either.
There's nothing I just want to be like I knew they didn't I just knew it was like an us and them thing. I knew I would never be their friend, but I just wanted to have peace at least,
Right.
you know?
You just want them to leave you alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a large thing to ask for.
No. And that still happens sometimes as an adult.
Yeah. And then I used to go to Usedan, a camp for the arts, and on the back of the bus, somehow they found out that, I guess I didn't. That somehow religion came up, and I couldn't answer the question, and it was like an inquisition. They were just like attacking me, and it was all girls. The boys left me alone.
Yeah, because girls can be mean, but not all girls. We should say that there are plenty of nice
I'm
women
sure
and nice
there must be
girls.
others.
I mean, but if you I was going to say, I don't even know what my point was. Never mind. But yes, women attack other women.
This woman mentions hazing too later on. It's true. Those girls' hazings are vicious, from what I've heard. A lot of
Yes.
them, yeah. They're just as, I mean, but all the hazings are horrible and they should not be ever.
Why is anybody hazing anybody? It's never good.
I think it's a power thing, a dominance, I
That's
guess. To
I
feel
just
superior, I guess.
that's pathetic.
Because then the next time they get to do it to somebody, it's pretty vicious. It's pretty vicious. But that could be a whole
Yeah,
topic for
really.
itself for
That is
sure. Um, So she says in her article, for a long time, I accepted and embraced these kinds of female relationships because I was conditioned and taught to believe that women needed to fight for their place and that the competition was fierce. I was convinced that there was something wrong with me, and for years I struggled with the shame of being rejected simply for being a female. But I was never raised with anything about women needing to fight. Honestly, I didn't understand. I heard about the ERA and I was like, does that mean I have to be drafted? Then I don't want that, you know? Because I never felt like I was deprived of any rights. Honestly, I got treated really well as far as by men. They all treated me well. I was named the editor of the newspaper, and anything I wanted, I did. As I accomplished every goal I wanted. So I didn't see that, you know. And I'm not. So it's weird because I wasn't raised. I never thought we had a problem.
It does happen now.
I guess it does, but it's weird how I never. I just like that's one thing that totally escaped me. I'm only seeing it now.
I would have to say I don't think as an adult that has ever happened to me. I don't know. I don't remember it happening. Only when I was a kid.
Yeah, but I just the thing about women don't get what men get. Like I just never that never happened to me. I don't know. Yeah,
I
so
have to say I had a job once and this man was hired a few months ahead of me. Same experience, and he got paid more.
yeah, that
But
how
I
did you
didn't know for a long time. I found out later on.
well that's I mean that's absolutely wrong.
Yes.
You see, I don't really have a job. So this is all like and even when I hear about the female movie stars, fighting for more pay, I'm like, they're kind of getting a lot. I can't even imagine getting that much
I
money.
know, but I think they get screwed in another way.
Well,
Like
they age. Although I will say, it's getting better for
it's
the older
getting
ones, like
better.
Meryl Streep and all.
Yes.
But on the other hand, it's getting better for a few. But for all the other actresses, they're
Yes.
not. You know, what I mean, they're really aging out. What about all the girls that are like, hired for all the pre rolls and everything? They're going to age out quick and be done. It's over for them.
I know. Why do you think they changed their appearance? Just
What's that one that really fell apart? The one that was married to Richie Sambora.
oh, Heather Locklear.
Oh, she fell. She had a
Yes,
meltdown.
she
Yeah,
really did.
yeah.
I
And
mean, but it's got. I know it's going to sound silly, but to be so beautiful and your whole life is based on your looks, it's got to be hard when it
I
fades. It's
but
just
how do they not know it's coming? Because they see it with other people that other people get
I
older.
know, but haven't you noticed that really good-looking people get treated
Oh yeah.
so much better?
I hear I well Howard talks about how his
Yes.
wife gets handed free things. She just thought people give away things. She's like, people are so nice. He's like,
Yes.
they're not nice to
Oh,
me.
I don't know. You've watched 30 Rock, right?
Oh yeah.
There's an episode where Tina Fey plays Liz Lemon and she's dating John Hamm. And if you don't know who John Hamm is, look him up. He's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's not my time.
He's not my type
Yeah.
either, but
But you
I
recognize he's good
appreciate
looking.
that
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
very good looking.
yeah.
And so she takes him out because she's like, he doesn't realize he's getting handed everything. Like he says he can speak French, he can't. He says he's a doctor, he can't do anything. So she takes him out to prove to him that people are treating him a certain way because he's good looking.
And
And
what
he's like, oh, I don't like this.
oh, I thought you were gonna say he dumped her for somebody prettier.
No. But like they go to a restaurant and she covers his face with the menu and he tries to
Oh.
order off menu and the waitress
Oh,
gets
so he
mad.
learned that it was just well,
Yes.
listen, at least he has that opportunity. I mean, give me we've never had been able to do. This is a funny story. So I'm a double D, right? Brothing, whatever. So I was going away with my boyfriend to South Carolina for work for his business, and I went to the Gap to buy a bra. So they only had
I was
up.
gonna say, where are you chop the Gap?
Yeah, it was years ago, and
Yeah, but they're not gonna have double D.
well, why not? That's what I. That's that they said. We only go up to see. Why?
Yeah, the Gap
Why?
doesn't.
They have a bra section.
No, most stores do not carry those
Okay,
sizes.
that's ridiculous. There's a lot of people with big breasts, big pendulous breasts. And I don't understand. It's a valid size.
Of course it is, but no, those
Well,
stores don't carry
oh,
them.
that's what they said. And I guess you know how I am. I'm so impatient with shopping. So I really could have gone. I mean, I don't like Victoria's Secret at all, and I've been proven right how horrible they are. All this stuff has come out, but in general, I just don't like them. There was a Victoria's Secret in that shopping center. I'm like, I'm not going in there. There's a Kohl's. I didn't want to. I just bought the friggin' bra. Okay, I was wedged in there. Okay, my boobs. You know how women have those push-up bras that just pops up out of their shirt. It was. I can't. They were like vavoom. I never got so much male attention as that on that trip. Everybody was on high alert for me. I got whatever I wanted. You want to go to the special rest, and it wasn't my boyfriend. Like he was fine with it too. But all these men like let me take you out to dinner. Like with him, unfortunately for them, I guess. But
Oh yeah,
I was getting. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
but it's true.
It's true,
That's
but
what
I'm not going to
happens.
do that dumb shit. Okay, like all I know is my whole life, I definitely have a lot, I guess, more masculine qualities or something. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and make myself into a Barbie doll. I'm not going to do it. Okay. I don't have the patience. Like, I got my nails, the gel nails for my son's wedding, and I just kept letting them grow out because I didn't want to go back. And I was trying to look up ways to get them off, and there's really no way to get them off. So someone said, oh, you can go there and pay them $10. And it wasn't the $10. It was like, oh God, I don't want to go back there.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't want to go back there, you know? And so I just let them, and then one broke, and I had to put like medicine. I didn't even care. I bought a splint. I'm like, I don't care. I just don't want to go back to that
Wow.
salon. And finally, they just started coming up. I wound up, some of them just peeled off, and then I had to I clips. I realized I could. No, everyone said it's hard to clip them, but it was not hard to clip them.
No, it shouldn't be hard to clip them.
Well, I got the wrong information. Anyway, all that to avoid going back to the salon because I just don't like it. I feel very uncomfortable. I don't like it. I'm not into it. And also, I don't like not being able to use my hands for any period of time.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm impatient. I buy the Sally Hansen quick dry, Insta dry. Boom. And I don't care if it chips a lot, then I'll do it again. At least it's Insta dry. But
That's,
what about these women that do the eyelashes? What the fuck is wrong with
I
them?
don't know.
What's going on? Men don't care about that. As a matter of fact, I'm sure they'd rather have natural ones than those crazy looking ones everyone's got on.
That's like a thing now.
It's
These
an
giant
obsession.
lashes. It's very weird.
Oh my, there's stores devoted to just that.
Oh yeah, I know.
Why?
I don't know.
It was bad enough the eyebrow obsession, people with the shapes with the eyebrows. I talked to a guy once and he's like, yeah, we don't care what your eyebrows look like. You got two? Good.
Oh, that's. I don't do very much, but I have a thing about
well,
eyebrows.
it's nice to have them. No, I'm saying you have them
But for
groomed.
me,
Right.
I want it.
No, groomed is one thing. But the obsession of which, you know what they do with them? They just do shit to their eyebrows with the shaping and adding with the eye, even all the stuff with the mascara. Fuck mascara. Fuck it all. It's just not worth it. I love the time I have. I want to use it. Time is precious. Time is something you can never get back. You spend money, you can get more money. You're never going to get your time back. Okay?
I know, but I mean, I don't personally do any of it, but I guess some people just want to feel good.
Feel good with crazy eye. You look crazy with those eyelashes. Not you. You don't have them.
Well, not some people just do very small, but
Oh yeah, but
you
no, I
know,
meant the new
no, the
obsession.
big ones.
I'm going to say something else, and I just said obsession, and I think it is an obsession. I think it's an accurate use of that word because people are obsessed with their eyelashes. But you know how everyone just says, "I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed." They use it about everything. Okay, if you're obsessed, that means that is your single fucking focus. You can't be obsessed about 20 things. You can't be.
Well, they say they
No,
are.
it's wrong. I'm so tired of the misuse of the English language.
Oh, then you need to not leave your house.
Oh, I just can't take it.
Better to stay in.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm cocooning. I'm beginning the stages of cocoon.
Yes.
Yeah, I am. And as a writer, I can do that. Okay, so this woman says women need to stick together. Well, no kidding. I mean, that's brilliant. And she talks about she's a psychologist, and she talks about women sleeping with a married man, staying connected to an old boyfriend when his new girlfriend feels threatened, not telling a colleague they're about to be fired, which is so wrong too. But I want to say she has a PhD. She used the wrong version of there.
Really?
She used THEIR, but it's THEY''RE. Hello, PhD girl.
Doesn't mean anything.
Nobody proofread this?
They should.
Over at the HuffPost?
Oh no. I find lately, like the last couple of years, I read a lot.
You read a lot. You read me right under the table.
And I've noticed more and more mistakes.
Yeah, I've noticed them too in books.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here?
And that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah.
I know. I think people just don't care. I don't know what's going on.
People get it together.
Come on. You can't get away with saying 2 + 2 = 5. So why should you be able to get away with making the mistakes in the grammar? The grammar is the more important thing.
I agree.
God. See how I get? When I saw that, I'm like, I don't know if everything now she says is suspect.
I think she has good points, though.
She does. She does. So then she lists 3 reasons. She says, here are 3 places within the self that could be explored as a healing path toward positive female connection. Envy. When women envy each other, things go dark very quickly. That makes me think of like Snow White, right? The evil stepmother is jealous of Snow White.
Yes.
Right? And what about Cinderella? The stepmother is jealous of Cinderella.
By the way,
that's my dog, by the way.
Oh,
you have something to say about Cinderella?
You can't be in
on this. He might not be able to get outside.
Okay.
Hold on, guys.
She's going to let the dog out, but I just have to say before we finish, support the women in your life. Women, lift each other up. Don't be envious. Look at what you have. Be happy with your life and be happy that somebody else is living their best life.
Yeah, I come back. Seriously, what about the golden rule? Treat each other as we want to be treated, right? We should be happy when someone's living a good life and happy, and we should take lessons from that. It's all good. Yes. It's not like there's not enough happiness to go around for everybody.
Right.
It's unlimited supply.
And that goes for men, women, everybody. If somebody in your life is happy and something good happens to them, be happy for them. Like, what is your problem?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're all like that, but you know what I'm saying.
And competition is another one. Women feel a sense of competition towards one another because we've been trained to feel threatened. And this competition is stronger around the pursuit of a man. Well, I believe that. The pursuit of a man. Oh, my God. And when a guy gets divorced, it's like a fire sale. It's like right. Black Friday. I'm like, you can have him because I'm not dealing with this crap. No. And they'll just beat each other over. They'll kill each other to get to the guy.
Oh, yeah. It's like those singles groups.
Oh, my God.
It's like 10 women and 1 guy.
It's ridiculous. And the guy is always like so dysfunctional.
And nobody would ever look for this guy otherwise.
No. If the guy had anything going for him, he wouldn't need to go to the singles group. And then she said, and self-worth. When women feel unworthy, they act from a place of desperation, resulting in behaviors that are not aligned with being a woman standing in her full power. That sounds like Oprah, doesn't it? But I do agree. I think the most important thing we have to work on is our own self-worth.
Yes.
And I did so much work on myself in many different ways. I will say I absolutely find myself completely worthy. I feel like I'm my own biggest fan now, and
good.
Yeah. So those are the things. And yeah. So now we have our quotes. And I want to say that I was rushing to find a quote because I did not have time to, and I'm quote woman, right? And then I have quotes hanging in my house, but I had moved and came back. And so I don't have all the quotes. I'm like, no to all the quotes I'm looking at. But here's one that I don't know why I picked it, but I kind of like it. We are all broken. That's how the light gets in. By Ernest Hemingway.
I like that.
I know, I like it too. So there you go.
All right. Mine, I'm just going to read what came up. For over 40 years, Madeleine Albright famously said, there is a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. Oh. So help other women.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Please follow us on Instagram, Life in Jest Podcast, because We have so few followers. It's sad. I don't know what to do to get followers. I forgot. I don't think I've ever been very good at getting followers, but
I find it's harder to get followers on Instagram than Facebook. I feel
yeah,
like,
I know. Well,
I
we
mean,
have a decent
especially not,
amount. We have a decent
yeah,
amount in our Facebook group,
yeah,
but you can join that too. But I decided maybe I'll put you know, I've learned how to do the little clips now. I found an app to do it. There was everything's a learning curve with this podcast stuff. Oh, by the way, the kill list, when they read the list of production people at the end, there's got to be over 20 people working on that podcast.
yeah. We only have one production person, and
Yeah.
she's sitting next
Oh
to
my
me
God. So
because I ain't doing shit.
it's unbelievable, but
I'm
so
so not
it's a
helpful.
learning curve, but I mean, I like doing it, but I just learned how to do the clips. So I thought I would put the clips on Instagram and then the other stuff on Facebook. You know what I mean? So it's different.
Yeah, get on Instagram because that's I actually follow us because I don't have Facebook. So if you have something to say it on Instagram so I'll see it.
There you go. But you
Because
could
it's all
also
about me.
but you could also be in the Facebook group and
Yes.
I
And
just
she'll
give
tell me what you said.
I will. I'm going to give away a signed book every month and I gave away the first book this month. I gave away a copy of Lunar Rising
Oh, who
to a
won?
lucky winner. Well, you don't know her. Her name's Donna Stone.
Oh, good for you,
Yeah.
Donna.
Congratulations, Donna.
That's great.
Yes.
Oh, such a good book.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope she enjoys it. I
Nice.
told her she should keep rising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. Well, thank you again. Au revoir.
Good day.